Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Year 4 Maths. I hope you're safe and well on this Wednesday morning. We're going to start this morning with our usual warm-up, 4 questions. Remember, 2 of them are mental strategy questions, 2 of them are written method. Try and get as close to 5 minutes as you can. Press pause while you're working, press play when you're ready to hear me talk. Okay, first question we're going to look at this morning. We're looking at question B, 810 divided by 9. So this is, as we've been looking at this week, using and applying a known division fact or multiplication fact. Remember then, look at the number, cover up the magic 0. 81 divided by 9 then. Okay, well, that's asking how many 9s are in 81. The answer to that, 81 divided by 9, is 9. And if you release your magic 0 then, the answer becomes 90. Okay, second question we'll look at is the other mental strategy question, 70 plus 50. Straightforward question, place value. And the only digit that's going to change in this calculation will be the tens column. So we want you to count on in tens. Units will stay the same, will stay with a 0. So if we count on in tens, it would be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So 70 plus 50 would be 120. Okay, next question, 167 times 6. I'm going to give you the 2 methods as always. Use abstract short multiplication as the most efficient method. So 7 6s are 42. We need to carry the 4 across into the tens column. And then 6 6s are 36. Add 4 will leave us with 40. And again, we need to carry the 4 over. And then 6 1s are 6, or 1 6 is 6, plus 4 is 10. So our answer then would be 1002. What we could do is partition 167. So we could have 167. 100 times 6 is 600. 60 times 6 would be 360. And 7 times 6 would be 42. And if we recombine those numbers, we would end up with 1002, which agrees with our answer from over here. Finally then, another one of our mystery number questions, slightly different this time. 473 plus something, a mystery number, will equal 1382. Well, this time I'm going to be thinking about inverting the question. So I'm going to be moving this number to the beginning, and I'm then going to take away the other known fact. So the question then becomes 1382 take away 473. You can see over here I've shown you how to do that. So 2 take away 3 you cannot do, so you need to exchange from the next column, which makes 1. And then we've got 12 take away 3 is 9. Excuse me. Now we then come to this column. 7 take away 7 is 0. And then over here, 3 take away 4 we can't do, so we will need to exchange from that column, and it makes it 13 take away 4 is 9. Over here now we have nothing left, so our answer then would be 909. Okay, our learning intention for this morning is to be able to measure units of area again. Star words this morning: measure, area, squares, part squares, and we'll talk about that in a moment because that's really important this morning. And also, I haven't put it on there, but tiles will be important as well. Okay, if we look at our in focus question this morning, it says there, can you make different figures using all 5 pieces? Now, first of all, what I want you to do is to think, what's tricky about this? What is tricky about this? What could be difficult about using these shapes? Just press pause now and just discuss what could be tricky, and then press play when you're ready to come back. Okay, so Yeah, what makes it tricky? Well, these half squares here, you can see that these are half of a square. They're diagonally cut. So if I was to cut down here, it would create one of these shapes here, which means really that I've got 1, 2, 3 whole squares and 2 halves. Now, if I add all of those together, I would have 1, 2, 3, 4. If I add the 2 halves together to make 1. So that's what's possibly going to make this a little trickier as we move through this morning's learning. So if I look at number 1 here, the young lady has made this shape. Okay, so she's done what I just talked about just now. She's got 1, 2, 3 whole ones, and then she's put her 2 halves together, because if we add those 2 together, we get a whole square. That means her area would be 1, 2, 3, 4 square units, or 4 units. Now the second question, the young man here has also done the same thing with those 2 part squares, or the parts of the square. He's put them together to make a whole square, and then he's laid them out in a straight line, a linear line. His area is also 1, 2, 3, 4 squares, just like the figure above. However, although the area is the same, if we think back to yesterday's lesson, the perimeter is different. Press pause now while you'd quickly work out the different perimeters of these 2 shapes. Press pause now. Okay, welcome back. So the perimeter of these 2 shapes, we have 2, 4, 6, 8. So the perimeter of this shape is 8 units, or 8 squares. This one, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So although they have the same area, the perimeter is different. Now this young man has done something completely different. He's made a shape using all 5 of the shapes, but his shape looks very different. Now we've still got 1, 2, 3 whole squares here, and what he's thinking in his head here is that he could take this square, this triangle here, sorry, this half square, and he could rotate it and put it up here. And that creates the same shape as the young lady had here just now. So he's worked it out as being 4 squares by rotating and moving the triangle into place there. You could also count them like this: 1, 2, 3, 3.5, 4. Entirely up to you how you count them up. And again, this young lady she's put her 2 parts of the triangle on the end here. She's created a parallelogram. And what she's thinking here is that actually she could take this one and move it to the end here. And that will then be easier to count. We'd have 1, 2, 3, 4 squares. Which one of these 2 figures, which one of these 2 shapes had the longest perimeter? Press pause while you're thinking and press play when you're ready to resume. Okay, so we can see here that if we were to rotate this into this place here, the perimeter of the shape would be 8 units. This one here, if we move it to here, the perimeter of the shape would be 10 units. So this shape here would have the largest perimeter. Okay, now it's your turn. Could you have a look at these shapes here, and could you tell me what the area, the surface area is of each of these shapes? Now, the further you go down the page, the trickier they are. Just have a little go, see what you think. One way of doing it might be, as you move down the page, you might want to put a little pencil dot on each of the shapes as you use them. That way you might know then, or you will know whether or not you've still got to count them in. It's very easy to count squares twice. So maybe a little pencil dot might be a good way of working out whether or not you've used up or counted each of the whole squares or triangles. Press pause while you're working and press play when you're ready to come back. Okay, have a little look. You've got here from shape A down to shape F, your answers there. Now I've put them in units, square units. Just have a little look, see if you agree. Press pause while you're doing it and press play when you're ready to resume. Okay, now it's time for your independent learning. Now what I want you to have a look at today is worksheet 4 on pages 109 and 110 of your workbook. It will use some of the skills that you've been developing this morning. Press pause when you're ready to work or while you're working, and press play when you're ready to come back. Okay, I hope you have a lovely day. We're not running a plenary this morning because we've had quite a lot of activities to do during the course of the lesson. I look forward to speaking to you all tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.